Jermaine Wiggins, been a part of the NFL for a long, long time, played in the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, and he joins us here on Radio Row. Good to have you. We appreciate your time. Jets, Patriots, Colts, Panthers, Vikings, Jaguars, and even Florida, the Tuskers. You remind me now of the transfer portal in college football.
Right.
I went to Eastern Michigan and then Iowa and then like Troy and then USC.
Right, except they got paid a lot more than I did when I was playing.
And you couldn't just leave. They were the ones that either said, hey, we're done with the contract and free agency. Now that you can go anywhere in college.
Yeah, well, you know what? I guess if coaches can do it, players should be able to do it.
That's one of the arguments,
I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, I have two boys that play college football, so at the end of the day, I get it. I understand that there are certain guys that are chasing money. For me, some guys are looking for the opportunity. But, learning that you guys are from Texas, I mean, you know about football more than anybody down there. And, in order to build programs nowadays, you look at a program like Texas Tech and what they were able to do because of the transfer portal and what it can obviously mean to a college program. Look at Indiana winning a national championship. So I look at it like this. If coaches could do it, players should have the ability to do it too.
I was excited to talk to you because I grew up in Fort Myers, Florida before I moved to Texas. So I'm a lifelong Red Sox fan.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I was at City of Palms Park watching the Red Sox. And so I love meeting people who are Boston to their core.
Oh, yeah.
And you're from Boston. Yep. You're now working for WEI, which I don't think there's a more Boston institution.
Yep.
Like outside of, Paul Revere than WEI. What does it mean to you? What did it mean to you to be a Patriot when you were?
Well, I'm a diehard. I grew up in Boston, but for me, I was always a fan. I was a fan of the team. I remember in 1985, my mother bought me a T-shirt, Squish the Fish. They played the Miami Dolphins in the AFC Championship game, and then she bought me, I think it was either a sweatshirt or another one. It was Bury the Bears, and we were up 3-0 in that game, and then things kind of fell apart in that one. But I've always been a diehard Boston fan. Celtics, man, Larry Joe's the greatest, to ever step on a basketball court, in my opinion. I mean, obviously Michael Jordan, but that's a different conversation. So, and I've just been a diehard, that's how it is. And growing up in Boston, and so now to have played for the Patriots and helped them win a Super Bowl, which led to a dynasty and them being back in it. I just love it because, we are massholes, so I love to just go around with my Patriots gear on like, we're back at it again. You're going to see us for another, 15 to 20 years. Get used to it.
Did you think they could turn it around, if that's the right word to use, as quickly post the great run over a decade or, over 2 decades?
Right. I'm like, listen, and realistically, I was like everybody else. I thought maybe they could win 9 games. I played with Vrabel. I know Vrabel, and I know what he brings to the table. And I'm like, all right, 9 games, maybe they can get to the playoffs and, they'll be building. My expectations weren't they would get to the Super Bowl Vrabel's first year. But as the season started to progress and I started to see the way the rest of the AFC was shaking out, I was like, wait a second. Oh, they can do it. Josh McDaniels has been amazing in helping the development of Drake Maye. Vrabel's got these guys locked in. He's a player's coach. And as I saw that, and I saw the team was buying into that, that's what you need to be successful in the NFL is people putting their egos to the side and going out there and doing what's best for the team. And when I saw everybody buying into that, and I knew that, like, all right, Vrabel had these guys in the right mindset, and I looked at the rest of the AFC, I was like, oh, they could do it. And, here we are today now and, getting ready for, a few days away to get ready to be in a Super Bowl. And they can easily win this game if they do everything they're supposed to do.
They didn't do a complete – I mean, I guess it maybe be a complete reset of the culture. But, I mean, when you hire Gerard Mayo and he was a Patriots player and on the staff, and then you hire Mike Vrabel, who was essential to the run that they went on, it doesn't seem like you're outside the Belichick tree, but – is Mike Vrabel just different enough that that's the reset they needed to kind of get back to what's always worked for the Patriots?
Yeah, Mike is completely different than the Belichick. He has some of Bill in him, but I started off in the league with Bill Parcells. To me, he's more like Bill Parcells than he is Bill Belichick. And when you kind of see his personality, you'll see like he's somebody that, he's demanding, but he also, and I think in today's game, you need this from a coach. He's also somebody that's relatable to the players and understands what the players are going through off the field and all the other, hoopla that comes with social media and all those other things. So I think that's the thing that when you look at Vrabel, he really he's a uniqueness. He has a lot of different things going on as far as like different coaching styles. And I would say that's what makes him such a unique coach.
You will remember him. The year you guys made the great stretch drive at the end, you were 6-5.
Yep.
You're losing to the Jets 13-0 at halftime.
Uh-huh.
And there's a young kid playing wide receiver who I covered in high school who got picked up halfway through the year named Fred Coleman.
Freddie C.
Went to the University of Washington, went to high school in Tyler, and I have you guys saw it, I have a poster board of him on the field after the game. I love that guy. I want to tell him you said hi.
Yeah, he's coaching down in, I think he's coaching in Texas, right?
Yeah, he's down in Texas. One of his sons is a really good player, highly recruited. But I said, damn. He caught a slant pattern, a crossing route, at a huge moment, and you were on that team. I wanted to bring that up. I'll send him this segment.
Yeah, Freddie C, man. He's such a great guy. I talk to him every now and then. I, try to stay in contact with a lot of guys. But, a big part of the team, and that's, I think, when you look at this football team this year with the Patriots, that's what you need. You have certain guys, when their number's called, making plays, whether it's Josh Booty one game, then it's Pop Douglas, then it's, obviously Steph Diggs, and you see Hunter Henry, you see Austin Hooper, you see all these guys, Matt Collins, and that's what we were, and that's the similarities that they have as far as back in the first Super Bowls where, you know what, you never know which guy's going to make a play, but when those guys get the opportunity, they're making plays with it.
We talked to Mac Brown earlier today. He coached Drake Maye at UNC, and he talked about Drake's loyalty and work ethic and how he kind of outworked everybody. Well, you played with a quarterback who did that too. What was the trickle-down effect of playing with Tom Brady?
I think the biggest thing playing with Tom Brady is if Bill Belichick can chew his ass out, everybody can get theirs, right? And Brady wasn't somebody who took it personally. So if you saw Brady getting his ass chewed out, it was like, man, and he's still like, I got to do this, I got to be better at this, I got to do this, I got to do that. You then wanted to just elevate your game to his level and knowing like, and I think that's the biggest thing when you're top dog or your best player or your best players at the time. And Tom, when I played with him, he wasn't considered our best player. We had guys like Willie McGinnis, Ty Law, but even those guys, when those guys were accountable and they were getting chewed out like everybody else, I think that's when you really saw like, and they're putting that work in, I got to put my work in.
I saw a video over the weekend, I think it was, Jermaine, that it was in a meeting. Some of the players, he was a new player. He's like, holy crap, he was just crushing Tom in a meeting. Our quarterback can't, and that they saw that. They saw that early.
Damn it, Tom. I could get anybody from Walpole High School to throw that around with a lot of other F-bombs in there.
Somebody I do want to ask you about, Troy Brown. You played there forever. I know that, like, of course, all the talk is about Coach Belichick in the Hall of Fame, and that will get worked out, and that was the dumbest thing ever.
Stupid.
But Troy Brown is a guy who's never going to go in the Hall of Fame. But I would bet you to a man that played with him was one of the best guys on the team.
Oh, man, Troy is salt of the earth. I mean, he's one of those dudes. And this is what I talk about leadership. Everybody's different, right? Some guys are more vocal than others. Troy didn't have to say anything. It was the way Troy worked. It was the way he played the game. It was the way he studied for the game. And when you've seen guys like that, those are the guys that you respected. They were leaders of the team. They were the quiet leaders. And Troy was one of those guys that, man, I tell you what, he played at Marshall where I started out in West Virginia. And he's just always been like the ultimate teammate, ultimate leader. Great guy to know, and I think he's still coaching. I think he was coaching with the Giants, but I'm not sure if he's still coaching with them.
Jermaine, can you people see NFL, and a lot of times the stars get a lot of attention, but not as much really as other sports. It's more individual, whether it's a great pitcher in baseball or whoever, what we see from the Dodgers and that team. But in football, it literally is 11 guys, and everybody has to be on the same page. Can you describe how much in that sport what a team must be able to do?
Well, because I can run a great route, but if the left tackle doesn't make the block or the right guard, whoever doesn't make his block, quarterback doesn't get to throw the football, right? Or left tackle makes a great block, quarterback makes a great throw. I run a crappy route. So it's all about 11 guys doing everything, where a pitcher can go out there and, he can go 9 innings and just throw an unbelievable gem and throw a no-hitter and kind of control the game. And, still there's got to be other aspects like, guys making great plays behind them in the field. But there's so many moving parts in football. It's like, it's even on the defensive side of the ball, guy makes a great play, gets past the offensive lineman, is right there at the quarterback, and maybe the other guy doesn't do his job, and the quarterback's able to step up and run. So it is the ultimate team sport because there's so many things that are connected.
When you play hard, sometimes you fall hard. Sports injuries require special treatment. At Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, our team of expert doctors provides athletes and active adults with comprehensive sports medicine care, diagnostics. Whether you're in high school, college, or beyond, we'll help you get back on the field. Call on the team physicians for Baylor Athletics. Call Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics.
Last question for me for you, Jermaine, and not Patriots related. You are on the ground right there next to my beloved Red Sox, who they keep giving me little tastes, little appetizers, but I want the full meal. Am I wrong to be optimistic about what's going on?
Well, no. See, here's the issue, right? I think the biggest thing that we have right now is the Red Sox have changed their financial mindset of how they do things, right? So you lose guys, in which I was fine with losing Alex Bregman because I wasn't going to pay him 5 years, 165. I just didn't think he was worth it. I wanted Pete Alonso, but they didn't go after Pete Alonso. Like, they missed on him. So I don't know what's going on. I know there's this whole CBA thing, lockout that could be looming, but the Red Sox have kind of they're not the Red Sox that we all grown up and love, where it's like, all right, $300 million done, $350 million done. They're not just throwing money away no more. Now they kind of work it. They're kind of walking on that, like, we're in, we're out. So we'll hopefully see what happens. I know they got some pitching, but they're gonna need some hitting, and that's the biggest thing that I'm disappointed in this offseason. I thought they were going to get a right-handed bat, and they didn't do that.
You transferred from Marshall to Georgia, and when you did, what did you have to do the first year at Georgia? Sit out.
I had to sit out.
If you could run college football, you mentioned that if coaches can leave, but coaches can leave, there's a buyout. Now you're even seeing that with NIL or whatever.
Yeah.
What would you do?
All right, so here's what I would do, right? And I know I would do this. I would do 2-year contracts for guys. So you sign a contract, you're going to be there for 2 years. And I think that would be the biggest thing for players. So a player signs a 2-year deal, he's gonna have to be at that university for 2 years, because there are a lot of guys transferring. But I also, like I said before, for me, it's if a coach can leave and a coach is selling you all this stuff, you get there and then boom, he takes off. Why do I got to stay there now? And if there's a better opportunity, boom, coaches take that opportunity. But I would do a 2-year contract. And then if you are going to leave, you'd have to, buy out. But at least you'd have this guy for 2 years rather than 1 year. I don't like the sitting out rule. I mean, I had to sit out, and I didn't like that. I like the fact that a guy would be able to play. But I think if you were able to do a 2-year contract minimum, now at least I have this guy for 2 years.
Hey, sit out in Athens and don't go to the varsity. They need you in shape. That's not fair.
Fred Coleman said hi.
Yep.
Absolutely. We were at the Jets and Patriots together.
Yeah,
so
that's my man right there. So
he said hi. I'll tell Freddie C you said hi as well. So how do you know if you have a Boston accent? Because you're around.
Yeah.
Like in some people, I don't have one. We're in Texas. He's from Florida originally, but so we don't have that Southern type accent. How do you know?
It's simple. Just ask them to take the motor vehicle that they're driving and put it into a specific spot. You ask them, where you going to park the car?
Thanks, man.
You got it, brother.
Jermaine Wiggins with us on 365 Sports and Radio Row.